Thank you so much for letting me chat with you for a couple of minutes before our special guest, Cindy. I feel so honored to be up here before Cindy. She's done so much to raise awareness for how important kitten fostering is. So my name is Tina Reddington. I am the director of our LA foster program, and we are in the midst of kitten season. For those of you who do not know, kitten season is the time of year when felines are flooding our shelters. We are seeing hundreds a week, you guys. And unfortunately, in LA, kitten season is a lot longer than it is in other areas of the country because it is warmer here. So the cats are getting frisky. They are having a couple of litters per season, and they are ending up at our shelter's doors. And the shelters are already overcrowded. There are so many animals that need homes that when you're getting hundreds of these tiny little kittens arriving at your doors, it is really hard for them to save them. Not only are they overcrowded and they don't have space, but they don't have resources. They don't have time. These kittens need a lot more attention than a shelter can provide for them. And not only that, but these kittens are so young that their immune systems have not been built up yet. So when they're in a shelter with, hundreds of other animals, they are going to be the first animals to pick up those diseases, and they are too young to fight them off, and they don't make it out. So what we have done is we have gone to the Los Angeles County shelter that has the most kittens desperately in need. That is the Baldwin Park Animal Care Center. They received nearly a quarter of all of the kittens in Los Angeles County, and they weren't making out of the shelter alive. And it was not because the shelter didn't want to save them. They really wanted to, but they needed help. So that's where we stepped in. And what we are doing is we are stopping the kittens right in their tracks before they enter that front door. A community member arrives with a laundry basket, a bird cage, an Amazon box. It is likely filled at this time of year with tiny little kittens. So we stop them before they enter the door, and we take those kittens from them. We bring them straight to our trailer. We work out of an emergency trailer in the parking lot. Tiny little kittens don't need much space. And we give them their medical exam, and then we send them off to one of our foster homes via Lyft. That's right, you don't even have to come and pick up the kittens. We call the Lyft driver and we go, hey, is it okay if it's just kittens traveling in the car with you? And then they go, wait, did I hear that right? And so the kittens come right to your front doorstep. We also have a great partnership with the Pasadena Humane Society. We together created their kitten garden, and where they have been able to save hundreds of kittens' lives. So just in the past 15 months, we launched this program in April 2017. We have saved over 2,250 kittens as of today, and that is one shelter, you guys. So one shelter, 2,250 4 to 8 week old kittens. It's a huge problem, and we want to be able to expand to more shelters. The only way we can do that is through cat lovers like you. If we can't get cat lovers to help us save these kittens, who's going to help us save the kittens? The foster program is so much easier than you could ever imagine. You really only have these kittens in your home for a couple of weeks. We need to get them to an adoption age. We need to get them to their spay or neuter surgery, and then we provide the outcome for those kittens, whether it is at one of our local Petcos, whether they are up for adoption at CatCon right now with the Pasadena Humane Society. We have at least 50 of our peewee kittens in there. We also send them up to Seattle, where Cindy is. We send them to Portland. We have a great partnership with Alaska Airlines where we're sending kittens weekly to place them up for adoption. So all we need are you guys to join us in this effort. Just taking in kittens for a few weeks, we are sending them right to your front doorstep with all of their supplies. No money comes out of your pocket. We pay for all of the supplies. We pay for all of their medical expenses. What we need from you guys is good old-fashioned TLC, making sure they stay healthy, and taking them to their veterinary appointments every 2 to 3 weeks. We have an online information session, so no commitment up front. Just attend our online information session, find out if kitten fostering is right for you. We can combat any myth that you think will prevent you from fostering kittens. 9-to-5 job, not a problem. Pets in your own home, not a problem. We are gonna help you foster with whatever situation you are in. So we'd love to see you guys visit us at our booth. We're at booth 609. We are also going to be handing out flyers and signing up people for our foster information sessions after Cindy's session. So after you watch all of the amazing things Cindy's done, I hope it inspires you guys to join us in our fight in Los Angeles and help us save even more kittens. So thank you so much, everybody. And without further ado, the amazing Cindy. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you so much for coming to my fostering seminar today. It's so nice to see so many of you, and I hope I get a chance to talk to you personally at some point over this weekend. My name is Cindy. I foster for the Seattle Humane Society and Perfect Pals up in Seattle, Washington. You might know me from my Instagram, Foster Kittens. This is my husband, Mark. He's running my PowerPoint for me today. So you probably recognize me from this and this and this and this. These are kittens that I've fostered recently. I'm super excited to be in Pasadena with you today. I was born and raised in Southern California and lived here until I went to college. I lived in a little town called Claremont, in case you've heard of it. There's really no reason for you to have heard of it. There's literally nothing there except for like some bougie sandwich shops and like a college or two or something like that. So I think the high today in Seattle is 74, so it's a real bummer, but it's always fun to get to eat at In-N-Out and come back to California. So thank you so much, Tina, for the introduction. The ASPCA has so generously sponsored me today. And like she said, there will be a chance for you to sign up to foster for them if you'd like to. They'll be outside the exits with iPads to sign you up at the end of this, if you decide that fostering is something that you'd like to do. My goal today is to explain some fostering basics to you and give you the information that you need to make a choice, whether fostering is something you can take on. No judgment here if it's not something you can take on. So I've also compiled a variety of other ways that you can help and volunteer that we'll scroll through at the end. If we have time at the end, I'd also like to do a little bit of a Q&A, so we'll just see how we do with time. Let's see, so with an international audience on Instagram, I get a lot of questions about fostering. Here in California and on the East Coast and in the Pacific Northwest, there are very robust fostering programs, but I think in some areas they're still getting started, so I get a lot of questions. What is fostering? And things like that. So I went through my account and kind of pulled off the top 5 questions that I get asked the most. And those are the topics that I will be hitting here today. This is my website. If I go too fast or you have any questions, please feel free to check my website. A lot of this information is on there. You can also email me at fosterkittensofficial@gmail.com, and I will do my very best to get back to you. But probably your #1 resource will be whatever shelter you are fostering for, because everyone has different programs. So my format today will be to lightly touch on the top 5 questions that I get asked on my account. We'll start with an introduction, just a brief overview of what fostering is, and then we'll start to hit those top 5 questions. How do I get started fostering? Do you get attached to the kittens? What's it like to say goodbye? Will I become the crazy cat lady? How do I set up a foster area? What supplies, what equipments do I need to do? How much is this going to cost me? Balancing fostering and home life. What if my husband, spouse, partner doesn't want me to foster? And then lastly, how do you sanitize everything between litters? And how do I keep my home from smelling like a litter box? Hopefully at the end we'll have time for some Q&As, and at that point we'll just scroll through the screen of different ideas that you can do to volunteer and help out if fostering is just something you can't do right now. So Foster homes expand the walls of the shelter, as Tina explained. It allows them to take in far more many animals than they could physically care for within the walls of their shelter. You literally, your home becomes an extension of that shelter. So most animal shelters, humane societies, rescues have a fostering program, and there's a variety of reasons that a cat might show up at the shelter. They may be surrendered by their owner, they may be a homeless stray that somebody picks up and brings in. They may be transferred from another shelter who can't accommodate that pet. And just a quick comment here about judging. It's super easy to judge people who have to surrender their pets. But keep in mind, this can be a heart-wrenching decision. Sometimes it's somebody who is elderly and can no longer care for their pet because they can no longer drive, or they're going to a care center, a retirement center, and they just can't keep their pet. It could be somebody who's in the military and they're deployed, or somebody who lost their job and can no longer afford to feed their pet, and so they must surrender them to a shelter. So from the other side of it, shelters sometimes get a bad rap, but please know that nobody gets a job at a shelter because they hate animals and want to do mean things to them. They're always in it to help. So I would just say being judgmental isn't helpful, being helpful is helpful, and that's what we try to do as fosters. We take the animals where they are and don't worry about all the clutter in the background. We just take them from day one and help them out the best we can. So some animals, after a medical check-in with the shelter vet, are ready for the adoption floor. Other animals could use a little bit of time in foster care before they're ready for adoption. That would include kittens who are too young to be spayed or neutered. It could be nursing mothers. It could be pregnant moms. It could be sick animals. Here's Stan. If you remember him from my account, he needed some teeth pulled, had some bad infections, and needed some TLC before he could be ready, and now he's living in a yacht club on a lake in Bellevue, Washington. So he is probably my favorite Cinderella story. Other good candidates for foster care, animals who need surgery. This is Nellie, who came in with a horrible eye infection. She needed ointment and eye drops to keep her comfortable while she was waiting to have her eye removed. And then she came back into foster care with me to have further treatment, and now she's living in Texas. Also, animals who are under-socialized, especially those who come in from a hoarding situation and aren't used to being around nice people who give them regular food and kindness and love. These cats need some socialization. So here we have, if you remember a few years ago, Prince Henry and Eloise, who came from a hoarding situation and hung out in my foster room for a while they got used to people. So animals who are stressed and under-socialized also will benefit from being in foster care. So these are the kind of animals that you may get to care for. So when these kind of animals come in, the shelter has a list of volunteers like us who have gone through an orientation and have been trained and are ready to take these cats into our homes. As amazing as shelters are, they're just simply not the best places for these kinds of animals. They can't give the kittens the one-on-one attention. It's just nice for a cat who is sick, not feeling well, who's scared, stressed, to have a nice home to live in with a family instead of a cubby at a shelter. And as awesome as shelters are, they'll be the first to admit there's weird germs, there's weird air there. It's just not a great place for kittens and sick and injured and cats who are recovering from surgery. So it's just nicer for them to have a good home. Another option is an older cat who is recovering from surgery or who needs a little break from the shelter. Fostering is great for them, just to give them a little foster vacation, and then when they go back to the shelter, they can kind of show their best personality again. So additionally, each animal that you foster literally opens up a cage or a kennel for another animal that's in need. So that is what foster families do. So how do I get started? What resources are available? First of all, call or check websites of shelters near you. Of course, if you live in the LA area and want to sign up to foster, we make that super easy for you today. But if you're not from the area, please just look around and see what foster programs are like around you. Hopefully you can find something. Most shelters will provide all the equipment that you need. One of the shelters that I foster for in the Puget Sound area keeps a credit card on file at all the emergency vets in Puget Sound, so that anytime there's an emergency, we have options to take our kitten or our cat to. You shouldn't have to go out of pocket. Most shelters have a vet on staff who will take care of all the vaccinations, spay-neuter surgery, viral testing, microchipping, and any other medical care that your kitten might need. So this isn't something you need to worry about. If you have questions or concerns about the health of your kitty, it's just a phone call away, and you'll get some answers and whatever medication that you need. Let's see, so most shelters will supply all the food and equipment that you'll need. There are some shelters, especially in warm weather areas like here, where kitten season is extended and cats can have 2 or 3 litters a year. During the summer months, those resources are stretched thin, and they may ask you to perhaps, provide some food or some litter for your fosters. Another way to get supplies is to set up an Amazon wish list if you're on social media, because people love to shop for kitten toys. So for the most part, you don't need to go out of pocket, and later on I have some pictures of kitten foster room setups so you can get some creative ideas on how to set up your area. So this next question is probably the one I'm asked the most. Do you get attached to your fosters? Or I couldn't foster because I would want to keep them all. So the reality is, yes, you do get attached. That's how you know you're good at it. If you didn't get attached, that would mean you were slightly dead, and slightly dead people make terrible foster families. So yes, expect to get attached. But I would also say it's a different kind of attachment that you have to your own animals. When you adopt a pet, you know that it's for life. When you're fostering, you go into it with a little bit of a different attitude. You know it's short term. You still love it, right? It's like a library book that you checked out. You read it, you enjoy it, but you know at some point you're going to turn it back in and somebody else will get a chance to love it. It's different than a book that you buy for yourself that you're going to put on your shelf and keep forever. I would also say that when the kittens are ready for their new homes, it's kind of like having high school seniors, if any of you have had kids graduate from high school. They're ready. You feel it. You feel it emotionally and mentally. They're ready to be adults and move on. It would be not right to make them always stay at home. So it's good and right, and it feels right for the kitties to go to their new homes. These are some of the happy families of kittens that have been adopted from my home, and I love that other people get a chance to pick up where I left off. And it's okay, you get attached, but attachments can be transferred, right? You love your kitty, you give it away, you get new kittens to love, and I always love having tiny new kittens around. So it's okay to cry. Make yourself a grilled cheese sandwich, have some hot cocoa, cry, cry, cry. It's okay, but get your room ready for the next batch. So let's see if did I catch everything? Yeah. Oh, I also wanted to say this. When it comes to fostering, I think of my heart as like a balloon that gets blown up, and then you let the air out, but it doesn't quite get small again like it was before. You know how a balloon does that? Like it just stays a little bit big. You blow it up, you let the air out, it stays bigger than it was. And so it changes, your heart just stays soft, it grows to accommodate each litter. And I would say, even as hard and as sad as it can be sometimes, it's always, always worth it. Look at that face. All right, so number 3, setting up. How do I set up a foster room? How do I, get equipment, supplies, keeping the kitten safe? So I asked several of my friends on Instagram who foster to send me pictures of their foster rooms and share their favorite components of the foster rooms with me. So I think you'll recognize some of these. I'll also give you my top 10 favorite supplies. First of all, please don't feel like you need to set up the perfect foster room. Anything you can offer is better than a cage at a shelter. This is little Kitten, Franklin, that I met yesterday. Super, super happy and friendly, but he doesn't have a lot of space to be a kitten. So look at this picture and think about what you have. I totally get it. I grew up in California. We lived in Silicon Valley for years. I know that you don't have a lot of space. I know that you're paying $3,000 a month for a house the size of a Fiat. But a Fiat is still bigger than this cage, and your kitten doesn't know the difference, right? So anything you have to offer is better than a cage at a shelter. So first of all, I asked my friend at 3 Tiny Tabbies, maybe you follow her account, to show me pictures of her foster room and share her favorite parts of it. She says her favorite part are the kitten trees. She's put them next to the window so the cats can get up, look out of the window. The mommy cat can get away from the kittens when she needs a break. So she loves her kitten trees next to the windows. She said her other favorite part, and I thought this was very clever, was her desk. She's repurposed this desk to have the litter box underneath the cubby, and then she uses the drawers in the desk for storage space for toys, wipes, food, things like that. She says the least favorite part of her kitten room is the carpet. She says it's difficult to clean, but she puts sheets and blankets over the top of it because she can pull those up and launder them easily and keep it clean. She says when she gets a new place, she'd like to put some vinyl in, which is funny because you think of linoleum as being like the worst thing ever, but it's cheap and they actually make really cute linoleum now. So maybe consider, I don't know, I mean, it seems kind of 90s, but maybe look at some linoleum for your kitten room. Next up, I have my friend Ashley from Youngest Old Cat Lady. She lives just maybe half an hour north of me, and I've seen her kitten room, and it's fabulous. Ashley says she loves the big armoire for storage, for food and littered supplies. She says she has a locked cabinet where she puts medical supplies that she doesn't want the kittens to get into. She uses a baby scale for watching the kittens' weight while they grow, a trash can with a lid so she can easily throw things away and the kittens can't get into it. She said on the other side of the room where the litter boxes are, and I do this too, she has an air purifier for smell and cleanliness. She uses the litter genie as well, and I'll talk about litter genies later because they're magical. She covers the couch with blankets. That's cozy for the kittens, and it's easy for her to take the blanket off and wash it to keep the room tidy and keep cat hair from getting all over the couch. She says her favorite thing about the foster room is this flooring, and I saw that flooring as they were putting it in. This is linoleum, and look how cute that is. So she laid the linoleum down, and now it's super easy to Swiffer and sanitize and clean her floor. So next up is Emma Wallace, who fosters for Gwent Cat Protection in the UK. I like this because Emma uses her guest room for her fosters. Think how wonderful that is. Sorry, in-laws, there's kittens in my room. You cannot visit us right now, or ever. She says her fosters love the radiator bed. For those of you in Pasadena who have radiators, they love the bed. They like the scratching post by the window. They can climb it to look out. The sofa bed is her guest bed, and she puts a waterproof sheet on it. Very clever. And she washes all the soft furnishings to disinfect them. And then next I have Whiskers and Purrs. This is Christy, who volunteers up in British Columbia in Vancouver. She has a super cute sign on her foster room door. She says her favorite parts of her kitten room are the hard surfaces because they're easier to clean and disinfect. She has cat trees near the window so the kittens can feel like they're, in the jungle looking out. She says for storage, she has shelves and bins inside her dresser that hold all the kitten supplies. Christy has a bed in this room, and this is really critical. She's put a little fence around it. It's hard to see. It's kind of in the bottom there, but she likes to lay on the bed and cuddle with the kittens. It's really for her comfort, but she keeps the kittens from going under the bed until they're potty trained because that is prime potty material underneath the bed. So anyway, I hope this gives you some ideas of some creative solutions of how other people have set up their foster rooms. I know you've seen pictures of mine online, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I want to share with you my top 10 favorite supplies for a foster room. And then number one definitely is rescue disinfectant. This is what vets and shelters use to deodorize and disinfect all their equipment. It's effective against a broad spectrum of bacteria, viruses, fungi, against parvo, staph, calicivirus. It's non-toxic. It sanitizes in 30 seconds and disinfects in 5 minutes. And even better, it's okay and safe to use around pregnant moms and kittens. Number 2 is disposable litter boxes. These are one of my favorite things. They're made of recycled material. They put baking powder inside of them. So if you want to make biscuits, you have some extra powder. I can cut down the sides so that kittens can hop right into them. And then once they're full, about once a week, I toss the entire bag into, all of the litter boxes into a big bag, and I put it over my shoulder, and I'm the grossest Santa ever, but it totally cleans the kitten room. There's no sanitizing, there's no scrubbing litter boxes, there's no worrying about transferring any, problems between litters. You just throw the litter boxes away once a week. So big fan of disposable litter boxes. My third favorite item is crystal litter. You scoop the solids out, the crystals absorb the liquids, and we're going to talk about cat urine later because it's a huge topic. But crystal litter really helps cut down on the smell of ammonia in a kitten room. Litter mats go underneath the litter boxes. These look like plastic rugs, and they actually trap the little pieces of crystal in their little mats so that the kittens aren't tracking litter all throughout the room. I also put contact paper on the bottom third of my wall. It's almost like dry erase. You can wipe off any of the messes or splatters that the kittens leave. Kittens are super messy, super splattery, super damp all the time, and this saves your drywall from scrubbing it or getting a lot of fluid on it. Super cute. You can switch it out. It's really easy to switch out, and they have a lot of really cute patterns on Amazon if you look. Number 6 is a silicone mat that I put underneath their food and water dishes. Kittens tip things a lot, and they stand in their food a lot, and they make huge messes. This will save your floors. They come in lots of different colors, so grab several of them on Amazon or at pet stores, and I just put them in the washing machine or the dishwasher when I'm ready to switch them out. So silicone mats are great. Litter Genie, I don't know if you've seen this. I think they're here. So you can check them out in person. It's kind of like a diaper genie. It puts the poop in little stink-proof bags and really helps cut down the smell. If you put your litter genie right next to your disposable litter boxes full of crystal litter, it's perfect. Number 8 is a handheld vacuum. I use these on the cat trees. I treat the cat trees just like carpet since they have carpet on them. I vacuum them. I spray them with rescue disinfectant. I use a carpet shampooer if I need to. So it's super easy to take care of your cat trees. Number 9, a carpet shampooer is critical when you're trying to clean your cat trees and keep them smelling nice. And number 10 is an enzyme cleaner. I probably should have made this number 1. Enzyme cleaner, we're going to do science later to explain why you need an enzyme cleaner to help cut the ammonia smell in your room. So please don't feel like you need to create the perfect foster room. Start with what you have, add or delete as you can, but keep in mind your basis for comparison is a cubby at a shelter, so anything you can offer is better than that. If you're worried about how much this is going to cost, look at thrift stores. Every time I go to a thrift store, I see cat furniture, cat trees, cat toys, cat dishes. Personally, I don't use cat dishes. I use the little salad plates that came with my dish set because in no way are we a fancy enough family to need special salad plates. So the kittens use our salad plates. They're perfect because they're flat and short little legs can access them easier. And then I just put them in the dishwasher every night, so you don't need special dishes. Are you on Facebook? Check out your local Buy Nothing group or Free Cycle. People, if I post pictures of my kittens and say, hey, I'm a volunteer and these kittens need toys, oh my goodness, you'll get anything you need. Blankets, toys, cat trees. I've gotten tons of free cat trees on Buy Nothing and Free Cycle. People will give me puppy pads, extra litter that they have, anything. So definitely use your local Buy Nothing Facebook group or thrift stores or Free Cycle and see what you can get for free for your kitties. They don't need a lot of stuff, but it's kind of fun to shop for them. So keep those in mind. You don't have to spend a lot of money to set up your foster room. Let me see how I'm doing on time. Ooh, yay. Okay, balancing fostering and home life. These are my 2 daughters, super helpful when it comes to fostering. People ask me a lot, I have a resident cat, can I foster, is that okay? Or my husband or my spouse or significant others really isn't into this idea of fostering. They think I'm going to keep all the cats. How do I convince them? And I'm worried about my cat catching illnesses. So these are very valid questions. Check with your shelter. Every shelter is different, but I would recommend, at least for the first couple of weeks, keep your resident cat separate from your fosters, because you don't know what the fosters have been exposed to, especially before they've had their first vaccines. Kittens who are nursing are immune to whatever illnesses their mom has been immunized against, but she may not have been immunized. So just be careful. Keep your resident cat separate for the first little bit. Also have a chat with your vet and say, hey, I'm looking into fostering. What are some common illnesses that I might come across, and how can we keep my cat safe? What kind of vaccinations do you recommend? And your vet will tell you, okay, let's do these vaccines for your kitties, and this is what you need to watch out for. So it's totally doable. Make sure your own pets are up to date on vaccines, and maybe add some lysine powder to their food to boost their immune system if you're worried about something specifically. If you have a cat that has a compromised immune system, that has some kind of illness, make sure the shelter knows every time you foster that you really need the healthiest kittens they can possibly give you to keep your own cat safe. And maybe consider fostering kittens who don't have a mom if they've been orphaned. Maybe your resident cat will love to be an interim mom or dad to your kittens. Our cat Felix is here. He's super cute with kittens that don't have a mom. The moms usually chase him away, and that makes him sad. But if he has access to motherless kittens, he loves that, and you will have a chance to meet him later if you have a meet and greet ticket. Also, make sure you have your rescue disinfectant around to keep things clean. So, what are some common illnesses you might see with shelter cats? Definitely upper respiratory infection is going to be your first one. This is a kitty cold. Kids get colds, kittens get colds. If your cat is healthy, shouldn't be a problem. He may not even catch the cold, and if he does, he may be able to fight it. It's younger cats, older cats, sick cats who are really going to have a problem with upper respiratory infection. Your vaccinated, healthy cat should be fine. Another issue that foster kittens often show up with is diarrhea. Your shelter vet will check for this. She will treat them for worms, coccidia organisms, and anything that you use to bathe your kittens after they've had their diarrhea. Just make sure to launder it really well. Use rescue wipes around your sink so that you're not spreading any of that to your cat. Fleas are another thing you might see in your foster kittens. They should be treated before they come to your home. So many good treatments now, and really all you need to do after 24 hours of their treatment is to brush the dead fleas off, and you'll never see them again, so it shouldn't be an issue. Viral testing, check with your shelter vet and see what their viral testing schedule is like. Some do it early, some do it later. Just be aware of what their viral testing schedule is. So what if I work full time? What if I travel? Maybe consider fostering kittens who have a mom. The mom does all the work. You feed and take care of the mom, and she more than carries her weight in caring for the kittens while you're working. Some people, if they travel, they'll do a quick 2-week foster for an older cat who needs a shelter break. Cats who have been in the shelter for too long start to become depressed and aggressive, and sometimes a little 2-week shelter break in your home will help them feel refreshed and be able to show their best personality then, and help them get adopted when they're back on the adoption floor. You could also consider fostering a cat who is recovering from illness or surgery. You feed them in the morning, you feed them at night, you cuddle them in the evening, and they're good. They don't need you to be around all day long. So these are some options, if you work, to consider taking on. What if I don't have a lot of space? Totally understand that. You could consider fencing off a portion of a room with like those dog fences. Here, the ASPCA will give you an actual little playpen for the kittens to go in. Or you could consider letting them be in part of your bathroom. You could maybe just take in 2 or 3 shy kitties who don't need a lot of space, but who could use some socialization. So lots of options, even if you live in a very small space. Allergies, this is a tough one, but I know that there are allergy shots that a lot of people have used and have helped them. If that is not the case for you, stay tuned, because we have a lot of other suggestions for you to do to volunteer. Okay, here's the tricky one. Your family, your husband, your significant other, your partner doesn't want you to foster. How do I convince him? This is hard to say, but fostering is a family affair, whether you want it to be or not. Kittens are disasters. They need to be, they need someone with patience and a sense of humor to help them be kittens, and it's hard to have patience and a sense of humor if you're feeling guilty or stressed about their totally normal kitten behavior and how it's affecting the rest of your family. And you should get to enjoy your kittens and not worry about them waking people up or destroying things and how that's going to affect your family dynamics. So keeping that in mind, I would go into it asking the shelter for maybe an easy group of kittens. Ask for a trial period with your significant other. If that doesn't work out, it's okay. Shop around for a new significant other. There's lots of them out there. I know you can make this work. Okay. All right, sanitizing everything in between litters. Will my house smell like a litter box? We've covered a lot of these, but just to recap, rescue disinfectant, vacuum and shampoo, cat trees, dishwasher. I use my dishwasher and my washing machine a lot. Anything that doesn't make it through the cycle of a dishwasher or washing machine, I toss it because it has to be able to be sanitized. If some toys dissolve after a few washes, then they don't get to stay in the kitten room. So let's talk about our friends, poop and pee. First of all, scoop every time you go into your kitten room. This is going to be several times a day. You're constantly scooping, which is fine because you have a litter genie right next to your box. Super easy to scoop. Here we have a picture of the disposable litter boxes that I use, and here is the litter genie. It seals the poop into little stink-proof bags, and it stays right next to the litter box, makes scooping super easy. This is all on my website, and there's even links to it, so you can buy it right there if you want. I use an air purifier plugged in right next to the litter box, and I cover the cord with a little special cord cover so the kittens don't chew it to keep them safe. And honestly, the amount of poop by the time the kittens are ready for adoption is so vast that it actually does make saying goodbye a little bit easier because you were scooping so much poop. All right, cat urine. This is really the biggest problem. You don't want your house to smell like urine. So I want to talk to you a little bit about enzyme cleaners, and this is where we get into science. There is a chemically important reason that you need to use an enzyme cleaner and not just any old household cleaner to clean up cat urine. When cat urine dries, the urea in the urine is broken down by bacteria into uric acid and salt. That's what makes it smell like ammonia. And household cleaners and regular old carpet cleaners just can't get rid of that smell. So uric acid is not water soluble. It bonds tightly to whatever surface it touches, and it has a half-life of 6 years, and I don't know what that means, but it sounds like a lot, and it's going to make your house smell gross. So this is why you need to use a cleaner that has enzymes in it, and here are some examples of my favorite one. The cleaners, the enzyme actually break down that uric acid, and let's see, they break down the uric acid into carbon dioxide and ammonia, which are gases that then evaporate. So it's super critical to use the right kind of cleaner on urine and let it air dry so those gases can evaporate. These make a huge difference. I know it's tempting to look online and use baking powder or vinegar or whatever. Those will get rid of some of the components, but once humidity sets in, those uric acid crystals start to reform and you'll get the smell back. Another tool that I've already talked about for disinfecting is rescue disinfectant. Make sure you get some from your shelter, ask for some, or order some off of Amazon. It's one-step deodorizer and disinfectant. It's great stuff. So I hope this has given you the information that you're looking for to make a good decision whether fostering is something that you can do or not. We have looked online and pulled up several other ways that you can help out, and some are super sweet. When I was doing this research, this is when I started crying, because so many sweet ways to help help kittens and dogs and help them find homes. So we have just a couple of minutes. I'd like to start Q&A. They're asking that you line up down the middle, and they'll bring a little, here we go. We have a little microphone for you to use. And while I'm answering questions, we're just going to have these alternative ways of volunteering besides fostering, just kind of scroll through on the screen in the background. So if anyone has questions, now is your chance.
How did you get your social media presence so high?
Right, yeah.
What are some tips
I
for
asked
that?
the same question. I never intended it to grow big. I actually started my account just to have pictures of kittens so that when people adopted my kitten, I could say, hey, go to my account. You can see what it looked like as a baby and what its mom looked like and what its siblings looked like. After just a couple of months, Cats of Instagram picked up a couple, and they've been really good to help foster accounts. They picked up a couple, and of course, things kind of blew up from there, and then people started lining up at 4 a.m. for adoption events when my kittens were coming, and so then we had to kind of, adjust how we did adoptions. So yeah, I've been doing it for 6 years, and it just takes time and a little bit of Cats of Instagram help. So.
Hi, I just have a quick question
Yeah.
about, me and my daughter do a lot of fostering.
Yay!
So we have a lot of foster kittens at home, and we are foster failures.
Right.
But one
proud
kitten
group.
I wanted to ask you about in particular is our little Geo.
Yeah.
We got him about, I would say, 2 months ago. We got Geo and Valentino. Valentino is so outgoing and runs around the house as sweet as can be. And Geo still has not adjusted. Like, you walk into the room and he runs from you. We try to go up to him, and we've made a little progress. But I'm worried because very soon he's going to have to go get his shots and get fixed.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to catch him in my house.
You're going to catch him.
Honestly, because even when he's eating with the other, he'll eat as soon as, and I'll be very careful, and he'll scurry off. And we feel so bad for him. We're not sure how to work this out with him.
So are you specifically asking how do we socialize him or how do we catch him?
I think
Or both.
socializing is most
Socializing.
important, and but they have free roam of our house.
okay.
He'll be on my bed sleeping with the other kitties or my daughter. But as soon as you walk into the room, he runs off.
Scatters. Oh, poor little guy. Is there any chance they can be adopted together? Can they do that like a bonded pair? Yeah. So I would try some Felloway products. Do you have any of those? I do. Yeah.
I do have
Yeah.
the plug-ins at home.
Yeah, it helps. The plug-ins, the little wipes, the little sprays. If you have one of those wand toys, what are they called? Ribbon dancers, I think. One of those wand toys, and you kind of wrap the ribbon all the way around it. You can kind of use that as an extension of your hand to kind of pet him and get used to being petted.
All right,
Have you done that?
We did. So we are definitely on the right road.
You
I think it's just
are.
going to take a little time.
And just like people, some are going to be introverts, some are going to be extroverts. I hope he gets to be adopted with his buddy, but you're doing all the right things. And think how far behind he would be if he was in a shelter. Yeah, so you're doing a good job.
Thanks. We have one more.
Hi. So my family and we foster some cats, and it was a litter of 6 from a mom cat that roams around our apartment complex.
Right.
We got 2 of them adopted, but she had a litter prior to that, and now it's an older female. And we did TNR to the first female cat, and but we haven't gotten the sister cat yet because she had a litter. And we thought all of them had passed away, but we found that one of them survived, but he will not come anywhere near us.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get him in. So we're trying to figure out, is there any way we can try to socialize him to bring him into the house, wash
How old
him
is
up.
he?
How old? Like 8 weeks, sorry.
8 weeks.
Yeah, 6 to 8
so
weeks.
he's still
no,
little.
he's
Yeah.
very young.
Yeah. Do you have a humane cat trap?
We used to. We had to give it back to them because we were renting it. But we're just trying to figure out, like, is it too soon since he's not weaned off, or?
Let's see, so I was going to see if they had any comments because I'm sure they deal with this more than I do. But that's a great age to start socializing. You wait too much longer and you're really going to have an uphill battle. But I would get another humane cat trap. See if you can catch the little guy. Keep them in a bathroom or something at first. Just make their world small enough so they can handle it. Use those Fellaway products. 6 to 8 weeks old, you'll be able to turn him around as much as he's going to be turned around. But yeah, I think that cat trap is going to be the key. Lots of good snacks, lots of fluffy blankets. Yeah, you'll get there.
Great, thank you so much.
Good luck. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Again, they will. There's volunteers outside the exits to sign you up if this is something that you think you'd like to try. No obligation to sign up, and if you can't foster, I hope you've seen some ideas up here of ways that you can help. So thank you so much for coming. I hope I get to meet you in person.
Thank you, Cindy.